Hi, it's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop in Charlton, Mass. A lot of people say, why don't you work with steel, Ray? Well, I do work with steel, but I much prefer aluminum. Why do I prefer aluminum? These are perfect examples of why I prefer aluminum. This is a brand new piece. This is a Jaguar part I made probably a couple of years ago. I never got sold or something. And it's just been hanging around, and that's what we call humidity rust. And that's very easy to fix, but it's a nuisance. This is a 1980 Renault inside of the hood, very common problem, and you have this rust busting out here, and if you sandblast this hood, you're going to destroy it. So this is an issue you fight all the time when you're working with steel cars, humidity rust and this type of rust here. This is not a really deep rust, this is a surface rust. And I'm going to show you how to deal with that. Here's a 33, 34 Ford Fender, and this has been naked for a long time, no paint on it, and it's got some pretty heavy accumulated humidity rust on it. So I hate sandblasting. I've sandblasted a ton of cars and parts and stuff through the years. I will never sandblast ever again other than little parts in a sandblasting booth or the frames or something like, or the frames. Sandblasting can work, but it can do a lot of damage too. So what I prefer is, all these restorations take time. If you're doing this at home and you're restoring your own car, this simple, strong phosphoric acid, Naval Jelly, I get it from McMastercard.com, and let's put this on, put it in a little plastic cup, dip it in here. Now you should use rubber gloves. My hands are been beat up so much it doesn't bother me. Unless you have a cut, it'll bite on a cut. I hate wearing rubber gloves, your hands all sweat, so if you're careful with your eyes too. So let's find a spot that hasn't been sanded or anything right here, and we'll see what kind of results we can get with that. Now when you put paint remover on, heavy body paint remover or this Naval Jelly, you don't brush it because that's too thin. You want it really thick. You daub. You daub all the time. Paint remover or Naval Jelly. Daubing is the trick. So if you got really heavy rust with big deep pores and everything, you can put that on, and it's a passive process. It only takes minutes to put that stuff on, and you just take regular stretch tight here, and you can do that, cover it like that, and that keeps the oxygen off of it, allows the phosphoric acid to stay wet, and it'll bite into that and remove all that rust overnight. You come back in the morning and you'll find it turns to a black ossified substance, and you can just scrape it off with a putty knife. You might have to put another dose or maybe even 3 doses to get it, but we're doing this short video. We put that on there, we'll see how much that bites in there, and then we'll do some on this Renault hood. We're going to put some daubing here and see how that cleans up. Let's do that little section. And then for this, which has probably a couple seasons of humidity rust on it, we'll use this, which is, I purchased this from Home Depot. It's a standard light, very weak phosphoric acid, similar to the Naval Jelly. The Naval Jelly's got a little more bite to it, but we can take this and spray this on. We're going to spray this up, and I didn't want to get the spray all over my wooden workbenches, so you could put down a piece of plastic or something and that would protect it. But these are lab benches. They're made from epoxy and cement, so they're made to have acids put on them. So we'll spray that up. I had a little crack in my finger and the phosphoric got in there. It told me it exists real fast. So you can see this washes off really nice. So typically we do this next to a sink or outside with a hose or something, and then we'll just rinse it all off. But you can see that just dissolves it really nicely. Very easy. But it is a pain working with steel because the worst humidity here in Massachusetts is in August. Every August we have to clean everything, all the steel that's exposed off. The rest of the year it's not too bad, but it does accumulate. And a little bit of this goes a long way too. So you can see the quick results, and then you can take a paper towel, wipe it down. But like I said, typically we'll just hose this all down. Now that I've committed on this pot, that's what we'll probably do off camera, is we'll finish it up. Otherwise this acid will rust everything more so. But I just wanted to show you that it'll clean up really nice. So after you get it all cleaned up properly, this would take a few more minutes to get all the little nooks and crannies. Hose it off really good. If you got a big sink, you can put it right in the sink. Much bigger pot, you're going to have to use a hose. And then this is just regular water with some dishwasher detergent in it. And those are generally alkaline. This is acid, this phosphoric acid, and that'll neutralize any acid. And you wash it off quickly with that, and then hit it with a air hose, blow it all out, get all the little nooks and crannies cleaned out. And then after you're done with that, then you hit it with the heat gun, and that'll vaporize all the collected moisture from the hosing out of all the little nooks and crannies. Now I'm committed on this part. I'm going to have to do it, but I'm not going to do it on camera. I'll clean this all up later, and Mark can take a picture of it and we'll put it on. But it'll take about 10-15 minutes by the time we get this all cleaned up, and it'll be just like fresh brand new metal. Let's go back to our Naval Jelly and see if we've done anything with the Naval Jelly yet. So that's only been on in a few minutes. It has a little life cycle, but let's see what it did just in that few minutes. Alright, so that rust is a little heavier, and that's going to take some more time. It's not really biting it yet. So I'll put some more on there and we'll revisit it. But that'll all come out perfect. Just a time thing. Now this might be a 24-hour deal. We might have to put the saran wrap on there, the plastic film, and lock it right in. Might be the same thing over here too. See if this made any headway over here. You can see a lot of, a little bit actually, of the metal surface is starting to appear here. So that's going to need a couple doses. So I think what we'll do is we'll let the acid do its trick. We'll put a little more on there, Wait 15 minutes or half an hour or so. And you'll see how nice that'll clean up. Alright, I had Mark finish this up. I was doing something else. And Mark dosed it a little bit more with the phosphoric acid from Home Depot. I'll show that again. That's the gallon jug. I think they sell it for about $18. Concrete and metal prep, they sell it in the paint aisle. And it lasts quite a bit, long time. And steel wooled it. Really good. Then he washed it out in our sink. And then blew it off good. Washed it with the soapy water to neutralize it. And then blew it off again. And then hit it with the heat gun. So that came out really nice, and that'll be all set for a couple of years now. Well, let's go back over to this hood and we'll see if this bit into here at all yet. It turns to a hard crust. It bit it a little bit on there. That's been on there for a while. That's going to need a couple doses. Probably a 24-hour deal. So that whole thing would have to be really dosed up. You cannot sandblast this. This metal is 20 gauge. It's really thin stuff. And it'll turn into a disaster. Now you can use Rust 911, which is an immersion thing, but you can put this in a swimming pool. I put it in a little kiddie's pool, and I spray it with that Rust 911, and that is a different process. There's no acid involved in that. I'll show you some information on that in a minute, but let's go over to here. And you can see this is breaking up really nicely now. So that's 2 doses. And that's cleaning up really good. A little scrubbing. It'll probably take 3 or 4 doses to get it all done. But generally what I do with this Naval Jelly is I'll do like a 1 or 2 foot section maximum at a time. It's passive. You put it on, you go do something else, you come back for a few minutes, scrub it, and before long you can get this whole fender right down to the bare metal. It shines up just like brand new when it's all done. You can see that. That's pretty good. So another couple doses, all that little residual rust will come right off, and it'll look just like the day it left the stamping press. So let me show you the Rust 911 deal. Alright, here's the Rust 911. I've been using this probably about 5 years now. I tell all my students about it. This is an immersion solution, chelated type of rust removal, and it's non-toxic, non-hazardous, and environmentally safe to use. So this is the little picture. It shows a really rusty crescent wrench or adjustable wrench and immersing it for 24 hours, and it'll clean it all up. Well, here's another example of how we use this. All right, here's a Powermatic 20-inch bandsaw that we bought, and it was in horrible shape. This has been heavily rusted on the nice cast iron table. All the insides were all rusted. This was all rusted really terrible. And it's such a nice bandsaw. I do already have a really nice wood bandsaw, but this one was a little bit better. So I decided that let's do a first-class little restoration on it. So that's what we did. All of these pots were just coated with rust, and we dipped them in that Rust 911, and then we primed it up and painted it, put new bearings in it, put new guides in on the blade. What a beautiful piece of equipment. But it's a perfect example of you can take something that's really beat up, that's been abused, it's all rusty, that most people are going to throw away. You fix it up. Little Rust 911 or Naval Jelly, little Sweat Equity, and these are now, they're a $6,500 bandsaw. And we have time in it, but not too much money other than the time. So it's got a brake on it. So that's just a few of the things we do here to fight the rust demon, and I like to fight the rust demon as little as possible. I do on the tools more so than on the panel work. That's really one of the reasons why I love aluminum so much. You don't have to fight that rust demon. So hope you enjoyed this video, and it's Ray from Pro Shaper. Keep watching, send in the comments, and thank you very much.